Before we dive into ARP spoofing, let's understand what is ARP. So ARP means Address Resolution Protocol. The logical address, which is IP address, is used by machine to send and receive messages. But the physical address, which is MAC address of the OSI model, is responsible for the actual communication to happen. So we should get the destination MAC address, which helps in communicating with other devices. This is where ARP comes into the picture. It is the protocol that is responsible for the mapping of IP addresses to their corresponding MAC addresses. The ARP protocols provided like two basic functions. First one is like resolving IPv4 addresses to MAC address. For a frame to be placed on a LAN media, it must be have a destination MAC address. When a packet is sent to the data link to encapsulate into a frame, the node refers to a cable into the memory to find a data link layer that is mapped into the destination IP addresses. Then the second one is maintaining of cache mapping. The ARP table is maintained dynamically. There are two ways that device can gather information. One way to monitor the traffic that occurs on the local network. As a node receives frame into the media, it can record the source IP and MAC addresses as a mapping into the ARP table. As frames are transmitted on the network, the device populated our ARP table with the address pairs. And another way the device can get address pair is to broadcast an ARP request. So let's talk about ARP spoofing and ARP process of making request to the IP, or even in short ARP spoofing or poisoning. So ARP spoofing is a technique where the attacker sends malicious ARP packets to the default gateway and to the host who is communicating with the default gateway in the local area network. The main intention is to associate the attacker's MAC address with the IP address of another host, such as the default gateway, causing any traffic that meant for the IP address to the sent to the attacker instead. It allows the attacker to modify traffic and intercept data frames. As a result, leading to a common attacking technology called in man-in-the-middle attack. So first, host P, which is unethical hacker, launch an ARP poisoning attack. Then hacker modified the ARP cache into host A. Then reroute the traffic of a host A to the attacker, as you can see in this picture. And finally, after reading the data packets, attacker route the traffic to default gateway. So imagine the host B in this scenario is an unethical hacker or hack attacker. He or she can be use some hacking tools like EtherCap and modify the ARP cache of the host and default gateway, then listen and capture the data frames that exchange between them. So let's see how we can use a tool like EtherCap to use or achieve such task. So let's first how to use the EtherCap. So if you have a Kali Linux operating system, then EtherCap program is by default installed on this system. EtherCap is a graphical interface that's very beginner friendly, unlike many of the programs that are command line only. You can use EtherCap on a command line also, but it also has a graphical interface and which is very easy to use. So at first just launch EtherCap on your Kali Linux, or if you have to install EtherCap, just type on a terminal apt install EtherCap, then it will just install on your Linux machine. Then when you open up the EtherCap, then it will show you this graphical user interface. Then what you have to do is click on this tick button. So first open the EtherCap program, then you will get a display as shown in this figure. So then just click the tick icon as the right top corner to run the EtherCap program. So as you can see, there are inside this there is target, host, views, filter, login, plugins. So what we have to do is we are gonna use the host feature. So just click on host. So after that, just you have to see we are going to scan for host. So just select scan for host to, and this will display, as you can see, the list of scan host on the target. Again, go inside the host and select the host option. As you can see, the host is available on this local network. To initiate the ARP poisoning attack, click on the host and the default gateway to add them into the target. So as shown in here and here. So after that, to start the ARP poisoning attack, click the globe icon. And top right corner and select the ARP poisoning in the man in the middle attack option. So as the attacker, you can use the Wireshark tool to trace the packet transfer between the host and the default gateway. So what it's gonna do is you are going to communicate with the HTTP protocol based website. So the moment you enter the username and password for their website, the attacker can filter the traffic. So this is the Wireshark, as you can see. So the attacker can filter the traffic the moment you enter the username and password, and it will notify the EtherCap program. So as you can see, we use the filter ARP request in Wireshark. Then after that, we got the filter frame that contain the password field, as you can see. Very easy. The password and the username are visible due to the usage of unencrypted HTTP protocol. So all are in the Wireshark. So there are the filter frames that contain the password field. Then after that, so explore the password field in the Wireshark as messages are not encrypted using the HTTP protocol. So then after that, EtherCap automatically detect the display packets and framed, as you can see in here, both for password field. So nowadays ARP poisoning is rare and avoided due to the reason like the uses of encrypted or communication in HTTPS protocol, or like dynamic ARP inspection, static ARP entries, VPNs and packet filters. So this lecture is prepared to make awareness of such exploitation toward user and developers. Always use this knowledge to solve troubles that happens to be others and for yourself, but not cause any troubles for others. Knowing how to this exploit is like having superpowers. The action you do with your power defines who you are, whether you are superhero or supervillain. So make sure you use this for a better cases or good cases for yourself, and I would suggest you don't use this for other benefits. So that's all for EtherCap using the ARP poisoning to get the username and password credential. Stripping away the encryption offered by HTTPS, called HTTP strip, which is a serious cyber threat to many corporations since their employees are constantly on the move and require access to internet on the go. even though open non-secure Wi-Fi hotspots. Once attacker gain access to a network, they can act as a man-in-the-middle attack to intercept connection over the network. These intercept tactics are also be deployed against wire network, provided that someone gain access to a Ethernet port. HTTP and HTTPS are the application layer protocols in a TCP/IP model. As illustrated, so as many of you know, that HTTP uses a secure tunnel to transfer and receive data, which is commonly called SSL or TLS, which means secure socket layer or transport layer security, and therefore the suffix S is added to HTTPS. SSL is a standard security technology to use secure connection between a browser and a web server. This connection protects the all data traffic that remains private and integral. SSL is an industry standard and is used by millions of websites for protection and their web transaction with their customer. In the secure connection, SLL is used in the port 443 and normal internal connection used in the port 80. Basically, in the port 80, all network traffic connection is a clear text, so there is no encryption. When victim computer tries to connect a web server or uses a all popular site who uses the HTTPS, attacker which is in the middle provide the connection. So HTTP instead of HTTPS, they provide this because they provide HTTP instead of HTTPS. Thus, attacker can get all the information in the clear data connection HTTP and provide the connection to victim computer. So let's just switch our method. So what we are gonna do? So we are gonna select our this IP to victim computer, which is Windows 7, and we are gonna use this as our gateway address, this IP, and we are gonna use this 1.3 IP to attacker computer, which is using the Kali Linux. So the first step would be attacker should open the IP forward with this computer. So as you can see, this will do this. So make sure you use this code on the terminal, which will open the IP forward in the computer. Then what you have to do is modify the IP table. So IP table take traffic inbound to our Kali Linux machines, on which the destination is port 80. As you can see, port 80, which is listening through the use of SSL trip. Then the attacker should start the SSL trip tool in Kali for sniffing the connection, whose location is this one. Then attacker should start the hours proof, as you can see, this tool to get in the middle man in the middle connection. So as you can see, this will get you all the traffic in this man in the middle connection. So in that point, SSL trip tool sniffing the connection between the computer to web server. As you can see, this command is for opening up the forward property. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use IP table -t net -a. So what we're going to do, you are going to changing IP table command into the terminal. So as you can see, you're going to destination port would be 80 and it will be redirect to the port of this. So after that, the SSL trip will be this command. So as you can see, this is the log file and this is the SSL trip of Python file. So this is the command of the terminal. So and after that, we are gonna do is hours proof. So this is the our network interface in our Linux machine. This will vary from machine to machine. So you may have YLAN 0 or ETH1. So as for my case, my machine was wireless. So as you can see, this means 0 means wire. So that's why this is means ETH 0. Then what you have to do is you have to send this from this there, so that this IP to this IP. So as you already know, this is the gateway IP and this is our 1.2 victim computer. So this is the total rsproof command in the terminal. So after that, so when you enter this command in the terminal, they are gonna give you the password in a log file. As you can see, the attacker can see the password in a log file, which is the SSL log file from the Kali Linux machine terminal. So the username is this one, cyber@hotmail.com, and the password is that I test for purpose test passwords. So in this attackers can see the attack on your browser, because SSL trip downgrade the HTTPS to HTTP on the victim computer. As you can see in here, victim computer web browser connection is HTTP, not HTTPS, because it changed the HTTPS connection from HTTP in a. So that's all the SSL trip attack in man in the middle, and it's pretty easy, I think. So another one, so let's give you some brief overview of man in the middle in internet. So let's give you some man in the middle brief. So man in the middle attack based on the address resolution protocol. So ARP on the network system. So ARP table is switch content of the IP MAC matching of all the connected devices in the network. So ARP table that we previously used. So as you can see, ARP is spoof, and ARP table is the switch content of the IP MAC, and ARP table of the switch can be changed by the attacker. Thus, all network traffic of the victim passing through the attack computer can access it. So it means the attack computer acts it as a switch for the victim computer. So this is called the ARP spoofing or ARP poisoning technique. And that is all for the SSL trip. Using a keylogger to intercept keys pressed on a infected computer can circumvent encryption used by email and secure chat clients. The collected data can often reveal username, password, and potentially compromising and private information which hacker abuse for financial gain. Once a hacker has created a payload and established a backdoor on the target computer of their choice, they have the full power of Metasploit to help them perform whatever post-exploitation attack that needed to get what they want. If it's your computer, they could capture your screenshot, steal your browser password, recover your deleted file, and yes, they can see everything you are typing. Sometimes a penetration tester may have a remote access to a user machine, but he may not have the user password. Maybe the user has a very long and complex password that would just take too long to crack. What could he do? Metapredator in the Metasploit framework has a great utility for capturing keys pressed on the target machine. We will start with a system that we have already run on exploit and were successful in creating remote session with Metasploit. We connected to a session with the session command and now sitting in the Metapredator command. We will be starting with a system that we have already run on an exploit, and we successfully in creating a remote session with Metasploit. We connected to the session with session I command and now sitting in a Metapredator command. As we have already seen how easy it was to hack the Windows machine with the help of Metasploit framework. Once you got the Metasploiter session, you can easily use the inbuilt keylogger module to spy on the Windows user. So once you get into the Metapredator session, just type sysinfo. So before that, make sure you use, as always, Kali Linux or any Linux distributor, because Metaxploit is built in on Kali Linux, and most of the Linux distributors are better to use Kali Linux. So just type sysinfo in Metaxploit session to view the target OS information. So after the type ps, so after that this is the information typing sysinfo. So after that just type ps in your command terminal to view all the running processes in Windows machine which you hacked with Metaxploit. So in this screenshot you can see that there is a process ID of Explorer exe, this one as I am highlighted. So and the process is on 772, which we need before to start the keylogger module. To check your current process ID where you inject your payload, just type in this Metapredator session get PID. So just type get PID, as you can see you will get your current PID, which is 1128, and to get PID 2 we have to do is explorer.exe PID. So as you can see in this all in here. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like when you start a remote keylogger. So when you be the capture keystroke, simply type key scan start and it will start removing the sniffer, or it will start to remove the login. Now that we need to wait, this will take a couple of minutes until our victim types something on the keyboard. For example, like go ahead and open your browser and try to logging into Facebook account. Now back on the Kali system, to see what, simply type press enter key scan dump. Then this will give you, as you can see in facebook.com I typed this one for gmail.com and this is a fake password. So and to stop the keylogger module you can use just key scan dump and it will stop all the keylogger module. To view the Metapredator session, just easy session space -i, it will give you all the session of the Metapredator. Then let's talk about automatic key scanning with lockout keylogger. So now that would be great if we could automate the process. I mean, do we really want to sit there and hang out until the user leaves his system? It may take hours, days and even weeks if user doesn't use their machine or use their computer. You could force his desktop into locked mode and make him lock in again, but that is pretty suspicious and they will pretty much guess that something is wrong and they will just won't do anything until this is fixed. So what if we could do, or what if we could have Metapredator automatically find and migrate to the WinLogon process, then scan the computer in ideal time and automatically put the user system into lock mode. Finally, what would be nice too is to, if the script notified you the user logback and gives you a text dump of his password, like me lockout underscore keylogger is an amazing script made by CG and Mubix. You need to start with an active session with system level privileges. So make sure you are in root mode on your Kali Linux. So just type background. To back out of the session to the return of the Metapredator prompt, just use this, use post/windows/capture to lockout underscore keylogger. So after that what you have to do is you have to set the session number to the active session. So in like our in is 1, so set session 1. So this is the session, so we are going to set our session to 1. So after that what you have to do is you have to set your PID value as per as this. So just then type show option, it will give you all of those details. So as you can see, there is no PID value is set. So previously what I have to do is set PID value. So set PID equal to PID space 1504. Then this PID will be set in here. As you can see, the PID is set to 1504. Then after that, just simply type exploit and lockout keylogger automatically finds the WinLogon process and migrated to it. The program then begins to monitor the remote system idle time. At about 300 seconds of idle time, logout keylogger tries to log the user desktop remotely. Sometimes it fails and tries to log it again. So logout has successfully logged the workstation and began looking for keystrokes, as you can see. So as you can see, it's pretty easy on Windows machine to exploit. So make sure you use this on Kali Linux, because Kali Linux is best for penetration testing and out of all the Linux distributors that are available. So make sure you use Kali Linux. So in overall, we can say that we demonstrate how to use Metaexploit in a Kali to capture keystroke from a remote system. We also learned that login password will not be recorded normally in a keystroke password, as the Windows or logon service uses a defined keylogger or defined keyboard buffer. But if we move our keylogger to the process, we can indeed capture logon credential. So we are also introduced to a handy program that migrate our session to WinLogon process, watches the idle time of the system, then logs it and capture the password when the user tries to log in. So logout keylogger, this one, automate the entire process from beginning to end. The user walks away from his PC, the skip waits a certain amount of idle time, then puts to computer into a locked mode. Then when he logs back, it is already set to scan the key paste. So it will set all those password in here in the terminal. This password could be a single password or even a complex one. It does not matter. Logout keylogger intercept it and display it as a plain text in the penetration tester machine. And as you can see, it's pretty easy. So I would suggest you to use this for testing purpose and not to use this on a other hacking purpose, because this is mostly illegal if you do this for hacking purpose. So make sure you use this for testing purpose or penetration testing in this case. So it is very good in a way in the Metaexploit framework. Pivoting and relaying are advanced features for Metapredator. They allow you to implement sophisticated post-exploitation strategies and expand your penetration into otherwise directly inaccessible system. So in this lecture, I would like to show you a couple of techniques for pivoting that and also relaying that can be used after you have exploited the system. So what is pivoting? Pivoting is the unique technique of using an instance, which also referred as a plant or foothold, to be able to move around inside a network. Basically using the first compromise to allow even aid for compromise to other inaccessible systems. So in this scenario, we will using it for routing traffic from a normally non-routable network. So for example, like we are penetester, I am a penetester, and you pull the company directory and decide to target a user in the target IT department. You call up the user and claim you are from the vendor and would like them to visit your website in order to download a security patch. And at the URL you pointing them to, you are running them a Internet Explorer exploit. So first, when the target visits our malicious URL, a Metapredator session is open for us and giving us the full system. So it's very easy, just use this exploit, and this is the default, so you can choose any exploit you want, but we're going to use this Aurora exploit. So make sure if you want to use this, just use this. So after this, just type show option. It will give you all of those options that you need to know. As you can see, this is the server host, this is the port 8080. So what we have to do now is we have to change our this SRB host. So as you can see, L host, we change it to this IP, so it's set it to this IP, and also we are going to exploit this. So as you can see, the handler exploit on this IP on this port. So when we connect to our Metapredator session and we run ipconfig and see that the exploit system is dual homed and a common configuration among IT staff. So as you can see, this is the session they are running and continuously running on this. As you can see, this is the same IP as in here. So very easy. So what you have to do now, after that, just type session -L, and this is gonna give you the active sessions. So we want to leverage this newly discovered information and attack this additional network. So Metaexploit has an auto route Metapredator script that allow us to attack this second network through our first compromised machine. So just as you can see, as I told you, just type ipconfig, and then this will give you the, and this is the second session, as I was told about the second network through our first compromised machine. So now that we have added our additional route, okay, let me just define this as well. What you have to do now, run auto route -H. So this will run all the auto route on this mass task. So use route and ipconfig to command and learn available route. So as you can see, -P, this will give you the active routing table. So as you can see, this is the currently available. So now that we have added our additional route, we will escalate to system, dump the password hashes and background our Metapredator session. So just what you have to do now, get system. So as you can see, after doing the get system, it gave you the get system via the technique, first technique. So after that, just run the hash dump. As you can see, these are using and booting the system key, also getting the administrator hash. So now we need to determine if there are other system on the second network that we have discovered. So we will use the basic TCP port scanner to look for the port 139 to 445. So as you can see, if you see all the name and option, as you can see, concurrency, filter, you can check all of those by just simply pasting or typing our host ports in here. So what we're going to do, we're going to set our host. Just set our host to the IP that you want, then set our port. So this is the port. As you can see, it gives you, so it's better to use 1 to 1 between this range. It's better to use the port. Then the thread, set the thread to 50, and after that just run. As you can see, the TCP is open on both these 139 as well as looking. So you are using a basic TCP port scanner to look for the port 139 and port 445. As you can see, it gives also result TCP open on both of these. So it also scanned 256 of this hosted. So auxiliary module execution all are completed. So we have discovered an additional machine on this network with port 139 and 445 which are open, as we previously see, as you can see, and we will try to reuse our gathered password hash with the exploit module. So just set host and all of those. As you can see, we are also going to set the exploit. That's are the SMB pass exploit that we are going to use, and also we are going to use this payload. And as you can, I think you all know what this is. This is the Metapreter blind TCP method. So we are going to exploit this method, blind TCP underscore TCP. So the local administrator password is frequently the same across the entire enterprise. So as you can see, our attack has successful, and you can see previously and about the output that we have a Metapreter session connecting on 10.1.13.2. So this one 10.1.13.2 via our existing Metapreter session, this one 192.168.1.201. so this one. So running ipconfig on our nearly compromised machine shows that we have reached a system that is not normally accessible to us. As you can see, this is the machine that we are now access. We can do anything we want in this machine, and you can check all of those like files, session, or you can check any of those and do any of the things that you want to do using this method. You can check files on this compromised machine. You check what windows are using. You can screen grab. You can send file, receive file, and all of etc. All of the things you can do on this machine after exploiting this using pivoting. So at the end, as you can see, pivoting is an extremely powerful feature, and then is a critical capability to have on a penetration testing.